been trying to get this guy for some time now. At least the opportunity presented itself today. He's what I call the friendly neighborhood ticket cop. All he does is go in circles looking for traffic violators. And again, I haven't made this point clearly, but I'm going to make it now. Um, it's not setting proper priorities when they're driving in circles looking for traffic citations. They're stopping murder, stopping rape. You know, it's a lot more important than traffic citations. If all you're doing is traffic citations, you're not answering radio calls. And I'm continuing to record because he may come back again. And that's what he does. I call him the unfriendly neighborhood ticket cop because he just spends his time here. So just got to make the point. You know, the people are in charge. What do the people want? Do the people want police officers obsessed with traffic citations? Police officers who have no respect for human rights or constitutional protections? The way I see it, that's the point I want to make sure to make. The way I see it is that while they are on patrol, if they encounter suspicious behavior or write down criminal behavior, then they can interact, even if that is traffic. That's the way it's supposed to work. When you're out on patrol and you encounter somebody in, violating a traffic law, or you think they're suspicious of committing a crime, then you interact. But if all you are doing is focusing on writing citations, as far as I'm concerned, you're not meeting your public safety obligations, because murder and rape is a whole lot more important than just citations. Let me see if he comes around again. And and the sad part, get all these issues out here. The sad part is that you record them and they turn into psychotics. I was thinking about this. There was a time here, because the taxi regulations are under the police department. That's who enforces it, with these people who are called taxi inspectors. There was a time here that you're literally, right under their boot. They had no respect. They had no ethics. They had no morality. They had no respect for individual freedoms, free commerce. Treated taxi drivers like garbage. You'll do what we say or else. And it's not the country I live in. That they actually think that they have authority over free people. And it's sad that these government employees have that attitude, that very bad attitude, that you're going to do what we say or else. And that's how these police officers are behaving. The new group they changed the regulations because of a lot of stuff that came to the forefront when the taxi drivers were fighting with Uber. And it doesn't seem like my little friendly neighborhood cop is going to come back. Man, I wish I had not lost that video, but here I am doing nothing more than recording them, and they decide to come over and give me a false ticket for being 18 inches from the curb, which is fine. I mean, it's a little $25 ticket, means nothing to me. And I was thinking about it, and yeah, we have the obligation. Not only do we get the privilege of living in the United States, we have the obligation of taking care of American values: freedom, liberty, independence. Humanity, if you needed proof of God, moral corruption is proof of God. There's your proof of God right there. That people's in positions of authority abuse their authority and become abusive and start to, by their own nature, infringe on individual freedoms. They have the right to conduct business. I know how to treat my customers. Government doesn't need to know. Government doesn't need to set my prices. I mean, the last time this is pathetic. The last time, just a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. Yeah, it was a year ago because coming up on January 7th is when they're going to be implemented. The last things that they added to the taxi regulations is taxi drivers need to be neat in appearance, the interior of the vehicle needs to be clean, and the outside needs to be in reasonable condition. Why representatives and mayors believe that they need to tell taxi drivers to take a shower or use deodorant or brush their teeth or keep the interior of their vehicle clean is what opinion can they possibly have of me as a person, as a business person, if those are the kind of codes that they're writing. You know, it gives you an insight into what they think. And you have to have a very poor opinion of someone if that's what you believe needs to be written into the code. And it is just upsetting that I am a free person in a free country. I'm a business person. I want to have customers. I'm smart enough to know to keep the interior of my vehicle clean, to keep the outward appearance, acceptable. And for the government to think that it needs to tell me, how, I mean, these intricate details is just, it's sad. So I guess my little neighborhood cop isn't going to make another pass through, which is ironic because that's all he does. He just goes in circles here, and that's all he does is look for traffic. And again, I gotta stress the point. That's very poor policing. There are more important crimes and traffic violations. I mean, if somebody's speeding, it's a danger to society. If somebody's driving under the influence, it's a danger to society. But on that point, a taxi driver, I guess weeks, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, was caught drinking beer in his taxi by the taxi inspectors. And the only thing they're going to do to the guy, one, he wasn't arrested. He was given a citation, but he wasn't arrested. Two, as far as the taxi is concerned, they only plan to suspend him, not permanently revoke his ability to work to conduct business as a taxi inspector. Excuse me, as a taxi driver. But just a basic suspension. And the person has history with causing accidents, injuring people, injuring property while under the influence. So, I mean, that's not a person you give a 30-day suspension to. That's a person you just say, I'm sorry, you can never have a permit to operate a taxi again. You're a danger to the community. It's not an innocent, I was telling somebody this morning, it's not like the one day he decided to have a drink of beer in his taxi is the day that the taxi inspectors caught him. It's more likely that he's been drinking in his taxi, and this is just the first time that he got caught. So I just wanted to document this cop that drives around here. Shows up at 7. I guess the day shift starts at 7 in the morning. That's when he shows up. But I guess he didn't want to go in circles. He had come early. I just didn't get to catch him. Let's see if I can catch him again before I leave.